I've just finished riding two new KTMs in Corsica where they've been launched. It's the 1290 Super Adventure S and the 1090 Adventure. Lower emissions usually require bikes to go up in capacity just to deliver the same power. Not for the new KTM 1090 Adventure, which makes 30 horsepower more than its predecessor, the 1050 Adventure, and remains the same capacity despite the name change. So it's 125 horsepower instead of 95. It's still 1050cc and it's more efficient in line with Euro 4 emission limits. The old one was kept at 95 horsepower so that it could be restricted to 47.5 horsepower for A2 licence holders under rules which say restricted bikes mustn't make more than double that to begin with. Now KTM is offering a separate variant that makes 47.5 horsepower out of the box. It's a bit of jiggery pokery to meet ever-changing rules made by people who don't understand bikes, but for once it means more power, the fools. As with the 1290 Super Adventure, KTM is making a more off-roading variant, the 1090 Adventure R, and a sportier edition called simply the 1090 Adventure. That's the one I rode at the launch in Corsica. So the 1090 now makes as much power as BMW's R1200 GS and is 10 kilograms lighter than the 1290 Super Adventure at 205 kilograms dry. It didn't take long for that weight difference to become clear. The 1090 leans with less effort and more quickly than the 1290. It doesn't have cornering ABS and lean angle sensitive traction control, nor the inertial measurement unit that makes them possible, which will have helped with the diet. Gone also is the up-down quick shifter, semi-active suspension, colour dash and cornering headlight, along with £3 off the price, making the 1090 11,299. It does have disengageable ABS and traction control with 3 riding modes, Sport, Street and Rain. An additional off-road ABS and traction control mode is available as an option, and KTM says the model does still have off-road potential despite being a road-biased variant. It's also got a power-assisted slipper clutch to inhibit rear wheel lock on downshifts and make the lever easier to pull. It's more of a pure riding experience than the 1290. If you're riding well, it's because you're riding well, not because all those rider aids are absorbing your clumsiness. And its greater cornering agility. I got really into it on Corsica's twisty roads, and if anything pushed it harder than the 1290. Peak torque is 80 pounds-foot, only 7 pounds-foot more than the 1290 makes at 3000 RPM, and 12 pound-foot less than the peak of the R1200 GS. So you can't just stay in third all the time. Above about 5000 RPM is where it really starts to get going in third, but it's fast when it does, and working for power can be rewarding too. An annoying Audi driver was going just fast enough to be a nuisance to overtake on those tight and twisty roads, and it was really satisfying to pass by outbraking him with the 1090's twin 4-pot radial mounted front calipers and then tipping the bike into a bend. The Metzeler Tourance's next front tyre had no problem with the quick change of demands, and the WP fork told me what was going on. Through the turn, the smooth initial throttle response made it easy to feed in the power and pull away. The 1090 should be a near equal to the 1290 when you want to stop chucking it around and eat thousands of motorway miles. It doesn't have comfort suspension mode and the seat is slightly less plush, but it's still comfy. The seat's 10mm lower on paper at 850mm. In practice, I didn't notice the difference. I'm 5'9" and on both bikes I could get the balls of both feet comfortably on the ground. The screen is a different shape to the 1290s, not as wide at the top and slightly lower. It's still adjustable, but the process requires unfastening of a catch on either side instead of turning a knob. Panniers are available as an option. As with the 1290, the position of the bars, footrest, gear lever and dash are all adjustable. The dash is much simplified and includes an old-fashioned analog tacho, but still involves menus of settings in a digital display, which must be navigated using buttons on the left bar. Like the 1290, the 1090 could be fiddly to get into neutral, preferring to go from first to second, and there was sometimes a delay in the green light coming on to tell me I'd managed it. At its price of 11,299, it's roughly £1,000 cheaper than the very cheapest R1200 GS. Perhaps a closer match is the Ducati Multistrada 950, but then that's got less power and torque from its smaller engine, and it costs almost as much at 10,995 in red or 11,195 in white. KTM says the 1090 Adventure is the entry level to the world of KTM travel enduros, but it's not really an entry level motorcycle. It's more a well-equipped, fast, agile adventure sports bike, a tourer that's also a total blast on back roads at a close to entry level price.